I'm 106 years old, and what I'm about to say would drive every nutrition expert insane. I eat exactly four things every single day, the same way for 40 years straight, without the slightest change. Before you scroll past to watch people dancing on your phone, listen closely. I've personally buried 7 doctors. 7 brilliant minds, spotless white coats, speaking as if they held the keys to life itself. And every one of them told me I was digging my own grave with my fork. The one I remember most is Patterson, back in 1985. He handed me a colorful chart like he was teaching a child no eggs, cholesterol warnings, like I was playing Russian roulette. Now he's buried in Forest Lawn, plot 247, dead from a stroke at 71. And me, I'm still here, chewing my eggs with my own teeth, real teeth. No need for anyone to mash my food. I eat 3 eggs, whole yolks, fried in beef fat. Sounds sinful, doesn't it? The yolk, the very thing that contains everything needed to create life, was labeled dangerous by lab coats, and they told you to throw it away and drink carton egg whites like window cleaner. Doesn't that sound absurd? It's like buying a car, throwing away the engine, and keeping the shiny shell just to admire it. I don't eat based on theories, I eat based on reality. If nature made something whole, who gave you permission to tear it apart and pretend you're smarter than nature? Second, half a kilo of ground beef with a bit of salt. No sauces, no fancy seasonings, none of those long, unpronounceable ingredients you need to Google. Your body, your bones, muscles, blood is built from what's in beef. A cow is a miracle machine. It eats grass, stands in the sun, and turns something ordinary into raw strength. And modern humans, you stand in front of supermarket shelves, picking brightly colored boxes with smiling cartoons on the front, filled with powders, sugar, and things no one dares to name. Then you wonder why you're exhausted at 35, why you need coffee every morning like an addict needs a fix. Third, 6 red potatoes, boiled with the skins on. No peeling, no fuss. Energy straight from the earth. The kind of food that carried millions through wars, depressions, and winters that felt like a curse. Potatoes have no brand, no advertising, no celebrity biting into one and calling it healthy. They just quietly do their job, keep you alive. But you turn your back on them because they're boring. So what do you choose instead? A packaged energy bar that costs as much as 3 meals and still leaves you hungry an hour later? Last, a glass of raw milk, straight from the cow, unskimmed, unpasteurized, untouched. They scare you with talk of bacteria like it's a horror movie. But you forget you are a walking ecosystem of bacteria. You live because of them, digest because of them, stay alive because of them. Then the industry heats milk to high temperatures, kills everything alive in it, reconstructs it like Frankenstein, slaps on a healthy label, and sells it to you at a premium. You drink it and feel safe because it's been processed. Sound familiar? They've processed your trust too. You say my diet is boring. Fine, boring. But you know what's more boring? Lying in a hospital bed at 60, swallowing 12 different pills a day, staring at the ceiling and wondering where you went wrong. People today are obsessed with variety. You measure every gram, log everything into apps, watch charts rise and fall like a stock trader. You eat 73 different foods a week, yet you're out of breath climbing a single flight of stairs. You think the problem is a lack of variety. It isn't. The problem is you've never actually eaten real food. You eat products. You eat ideas. You eat advertising. And you call that living. Why do I eat those four things? Not to become some perfect health chart in your cheap magazines. I do it to buy freedom. Freedom from the fluorescent maze of supermarkets, where you stand frozen in front of 600 types of cereal, wondering how your life led you to choosing between low sugar and no sugar, but full of chemicals. I don't read labels. I don't compare. I don't worry about whether I'm eating right. I eat and I get up. That's it. And you? How many hours a week do you spend thinking about food only to feel like you're still getting it wrong? I don't waste money on so-called superfoods, flown halfway across the world from the Amazon just to sit lifeless in a glass jar on your kitchen shelf. The only thing super about them is the price. The simplicity on my plate creates space in my mind, and in that space I live. Not just exist, live. I see, I hear, I touch, I love, and sometimes I hurt. My husband George ate 2 eggs and toast every morning for 50 years. 50 years, did you catch that? People asked if he ever got bored. He smiled the kind of smile from someone who doesn't owe anyone an explanation and say, "Bored? I'm still breathing." That's interesting enough. Do you understand that? Or do you need an app to interpret it for you? But here's something you won't want to hear. Food is only half the story. Just half. You could eat exactly like me every bite, every day, and if your soul is rotting, you'll die all the same. I had a neighbor, Walter, the kind of man you'd call disciplined, exercised daily, ate clean, read every health book out there, talked like a walking encyclopedia. He died at 68. Cancer. You'll say, see, diet doesn't matter. No, you're wrong. Cancer didn't kill Walter. Bitterness did. He spent 40 years hating his own brother over an inheritance dispute. 40 years. Every morning he woke up and strapped on an invisible backpack filled with stones of resentment. Try carrying that for one day. See if you can still breathe. Walter carried it his whole life. Cancer was just the excuse. Death had started long before. The day he chose to hold on to that anger like it was gold. I didn't. I forgave my mother. She was as cold as winter stone. No hugs, no warmth, not a single gentle word. I could have carried that with me forever, turned it into a reason to be bitter at the world, but I let it go. Not because she changed, she didn't, but I became lighter. Lighter. Like setting down a suitcase I was foolish enough to drag around for half a century. When George died, I sat in the kitchen and cried like a foolish old woman. My granddaughter walked in, not knowing what to do. I looked at her and said, "He always said I'd be lost without him. Turns out the old man was right." She laughed. I laughed. Then we both cried again. Do you understand? Laughter in the deepest pain, that's what keeps your heart from shattering into dust. And now listen carefully, because I won't say this twice. Don't waste your life waiting until you have money to start living, waiting until you're thinner to fall in love, waiting until retirement to finally do what you want. I had a friend, Betty, who worked with me at the switchboard in the 60S. She dreamed of opening a bakery. Every day, she'd say, "In 10 years, when I retire, I'll bake every day." 10 years. Sound familiar? Betty died at 62, 2 years before retirement. She never touched an oven of her own. Someday. Sounds beautiful, doesn't it? Here's the brutal truth. It doesn't exist. It's the sweetest trap you set for yourself to postpone your own life. Stop chasing complexity. Stop torturing yourself with things you don't understand. Eat real food. Forgive the people you think don't deserve it. Hold your family while they're still here. And do the thing you keep saying you'll do later. Doctors can't explain this because they're looking for formulas. They want something complex they can sell you. But my secret? There's nothing to sell. Real food, real love, real presence. Now get up and go fry some eggs.